Welcome back to Bradford City v Grimsby Town match reaction. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. 0-0 draw. I mean, it's not the 3 points we wanted going into a game, but at the same time, it's a point gained. Maybe. I mean, draws don't get you anywhere. We know that, but you know, at the same time, we didn't lose. We're going to Tuesday's game against Swindon, and I think that's why we probably brought Andy Cook off for East. You know, go a bit more defensive, get the point, take it into the next game against Swindon, which will be a tough game, and hopefully we can get something against them. But I think the main things to take from that game was a lack of creativity and the lack of movement, especially in the second half. First half, do a bit of that. Terry Wright, Chapman and Pereira linking up well, and then Pereira and Chapman both came off for Sutton and Angle, and they want that same movement and connection. Wright went missing, Angle playing as a target man, that's not how he wants to play, and Sutton, you know, ain't a winger, so we lost all that creativity in the final third, and then we didn't create the chances we did in the first half. We'll get into the stats now. 15 shots for them, 11 for us, 2 shots on target for us, 4 on target for them, and 58% possession. I mean, I thought we had a bit less than that. And looking at the league table, we're down to 6th now, 14 games played. Swindon have played an extra game. We played them on Tuesday. We've now got 7 wins, 4 draws and 3 defeats, 19 scored, 11 conceded. Obviously haven't changed since before kick-off. And we're on 25 points now, which is 1 point away from 8th, but we're also a few more points away from 3rd, 5 points off 3rd now, Northampton, after their win. I can't remember who they beat. I don't remember who to beat, but at the end of the day, we're falling away from that top 3. But the main thing is, if you stay in the top 7 till the end of the season, you'll be in the playoffs. So at least, but no, seriously, I mean, the key to it is if you can keep staying in them areas, you're gonna have a good season, and you know, you're in the right place, and then you could go on a late push towards the end of the season. And hopefully find yourselves in those top 3, and then you don't have to go to Wembley. And if you go to Wembley, hopefully we bloody win. But yeah, I mean, looking at the first half, like I said, we did look at the better team. A few good chances with Chapman. They had a few counter-attacks, hit the post a few times. But then the second half, we did sit back a bit more, it looked, and we invited a bit more pressure on. Like I said, there were no spark in the final third. A few poor substitutions, Angle coming on and playing as a target man, Cook coming off for East. You know, I felt East for Gilead should have been the sub, and then Oliver for Cook should have been the sub. And then keep Angle as the number 10, don't put Angle up front. Then you still have that target man who will win the headers and not make fouls. But, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, it's a 0-0 draw. We're taking to the next game on Tuesday. This game's coming thick and fast. And he's obviously wanted to rest Cook, and maybe he wanted to rest Pereira, but you know, it didn't look good after missing a City. We come straight off. But yeah, I think that's a fair summary of the game. A lack of creativity and the lack of movement. But let me know your thoughts on the match in the comments down below, and let me know your player ratings. Harry Lewis, I'm going to give him an 8 and man of match, easily man of match. Second half especially, numerous saves that kept us in the game. Championship standard goalkeeper. Would he be playing for Southampton if they kept him? No. But should he be? When you look at that Bazunu, I think he's a decent keeper, but he's no Harry Lewis, and I don't think most England goalkeepers are Harry Lewis. Obviously it's a lower level, but you know, at the same time, he's performing outstandingly well for a player who's barely had any football. But why have we signed him? Because of Mark Hughes. If we didn't have Mark Hughes, we wouldn't have signed Lewis, wouldn't have signed Smallwood, Chapman, Pereira. Many players wouldn't have come because of Mark Hughes, and then we would have had the same washed out League Two crap standard players like Theo Robinson, Lavery, those crap players that we've accumulated in these last few years, because you know, they've looked at Bradford City, they've said, yeah, you've got a good fan base, yeah, you've got everything in place, but what you haven't got is a clear direction and a clear a really good manager who's got an identity and a plan. And that's what we've got with Mark Hughes, and that's what he brings to the table. hopefully he brings a few more 3 points as well. But we are one of the best away teams in the league. They are one of the worst home teams in the league, and we always, we have to expect that we aren't going to win that because we are Bradford City. We always defy the odds. But moving into defence, I think they all get a 7. I think none of them really put a foot wrong. They all look quite steady today. I think a few mistakes here and there, but it's League Two. We're not looking at Premier League defenders. We're looking at League Two defenders. They're going to make a few mistakes, but I think Critchlow for Odesina, slowly but surely Critchlow's looking even more better every game. I think Odesina got bullied in a couple of games, and then recently Critchlow's found his way back in the team, and he's really good on the ball. Brings calmness like Lewis does on the ball as well. Platt's probably the better one out of the two, especially in the air. But they complement each other well. Halliday had probably his best day in a City shirt. A few good tackles going in. One thing, he could have got forward a bit more. But we did look better defensively today, and Salford. So back-to-back league games, but we do look better defensively. And Folds obviously Mr. Consistent at the minute, and he deserves all the plaudits because we were expecting. Well, to be fair, Folds won't even really mention that at the end of last season. Maybe we need a new left back. Rideout probably ain't good enough, and then Folds, Folds is just decent. But Folds has come on to be probably one of our better players this season, just out of consistency. And they dealt with Kieran well, their winger, who came off at half time. I thought that was quite peculiar because I thought, well, it seems to be nearly getting the better of Folds, but not quite. And it was quite an interesting encounter, but Folds stood up to him well, and he's done that quite a few times so far this season. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Midfield, Smallwood and Gilead. I think Gilead probably unfairly gets a 5, probably because we all know that he might have had a better game, considering that he got unfairly dropped after that Salford game. But to be fair, I did quite like East before that Salford game. But we're on the East Coast, and it did end up coming on in a 4-3-3 flat sort of formation with Smallwood, East and Gilead sort of trying to push on, and Smallwood sat back a bit more. But it gave us nothing apart from the point, which it depends how you look at it. We got a point, we take it, or we could have got a win. If we maybe put Oliver on instead and gone a bit more for it. It depends how you're looking at it, but I look at it, it's a decent point away from home, and we've got a big game on Tuesday. We've rested Cook, and we're putting all our eggs into that basket by the looks of it. But I mean, Gilead 5. I think he was sloppy on the ball, give it away a few too many times. Gilead always turns down a shot. He ain't gonna put many crosses into a box either, but I don't know if that's a confidence thing or an instruction. Don't shoot. Try to recycle the ball. He does it well, but he turned a few too many chances down to when there were good chances to. There was one way he had a bit of momentum by a shove, and if he hit it, he probably could have gone in just through the momentum of the power of the shot. But I think he could have had a better game. But at the same time, I think he's getting marked down because everyone knows that he probably should have been starting that game. And Smallwood 7, Mr. Reliable, El Capitan, is fantastic. He's Smallwood, and I still can't believe we've got him. But he had another good game, a few good tackles going in, a few good passes, and that's all I can say about Smallwood because that's what he does every game. It's a bit boring, The score will do something because all I'm saying is puts a few good tackles in and a few good passes, and he gets a 7. But that's basically what he does, and it can be quite underrated, and the more of it goes on, it could be quite underrated because you appreciate it less because it ain't that shining new toy anymore. But we've got a championship midfielder. But yeah, another good game from Smallwood. Into the attack, it's hard to rate the attack because the second half it sort of fell down. But was that down to the subs? I think Chapman had a good game before he got subbed off. Obviously missed a few good chances, but he's a League Two winger. He is going to be a bit inconsistent in games, but the intent were there, to try and create chances, to try and score a couple of goals because he had a couple of really good chances. But at the same time, I don't think he's a number 10. I think if he played on the wing, we'd get more out of him, more goals, more assists, more creativity. But then at the same time, you go, well, who are you playing in number 10 then? Well, Angol. But for some reason, Hughes don't tend to want to do that. I think he wants to see him as more of an impact sub and someone who can change the game off the bench, but it ain't always going to work that. And I think there were too many players who didn't come off the bench who probably should have come off the bench over some who were still on the pitch at the end of the game. But hopefully his injury isn't serious. But moving on to Tariq Wright, I've got to give him a 6. Chapman 6 as well. Now I'll give Chapman a 7. Tariq Wright a 6. I think we were quite quiet. First half he had a couple of chances. And second half I can't say I actually noticed him. You know, we lacked a bit of width in that second half. And then there were no one out there out wide. He might have come off because I'm pretty sure he did, because I can't remember him being on the pitch in that second half. But you know, it wasn't his best performance, and I think he'll have better, and hopefully he bounces back on Tuesday, does a better game. But yeah, I think we were quite poor. And I think we might have needed someone like Scott Banks to come off the bench, but also we have left out Jake Young, one even on the bench. You know, a player who started off quite quickly. You know, he's a young player, but a couple of good goals. Yeah, he lacks a bit of other stuff in his play, but you know, he's someone who could come on and score worldly out of nothing, because that's the type of player he is. He gets the ball and he'll have a shot, and it might just fly in, or it might just fly and hit someone's head in the back of the stand. But he has that bit of pace and a bit of unpredictability of when he's going to release a shot, and you know, I think we probably needed someone like that to come off the bench. But Pereira gets a 6, although he had a good first half. He also missed a couple of good chances that he probably should have scored. But you know, the signs were there to show me that Pereira's slowly getting into the team and creating more chances, trying to get on the ball, and trying to cause some good attacks in the final third. And when he came off, we did miss him. So Sutton gets a 6 because he didn't. Sutton gets a 5 because he didn't perform to Pereira's standards. Up top, Cook 6. You know, he didn't try getting into the game enough, but at the same time, he was always running around trying to get a mistake out of defenders, and that's what he does. His work rate's probably to be admired by others, but you know, he gets a 6. But that's the match ratings. I'm going to give Angol a 5. That's the match ratings. Let me know your match ratings in the comments down below, player ratings. Let me know your thoughts in the match as well. Have a good one.